All right, got another one here for all of you. Let's talk customers. What are some of the most interesting problems you've had come up with customers, and how did you resolve them?
How much time do we have?
You got about 18 minutes.
I'd say the most difficult part with a client, I don't know, some of you guys may agree or disagree, is whether they know what they want or they don't know what they want. You're dealing with whether it's a commercial application or a client or even a retail become more difficult. I think a retail environment is more difficult than a commercial. A commercial company has a logo, they have a phone number, they have a website, they have a color scheme. They may not exactly know what they want, but at least you have parameters to go off of. So if you're doing a design, having to design and take that from full design to print to install, a commercial, even though it might not be as exciting, I would say it would be a little more easier to deal with. It's the guy that comes in that has no clue what they want, but want to spend money, which is a good problem to have. But I think figuring out what the client wants and then setting their expectations on what they are looking for, to me, is the most difficult issue on a daily basis for me.
Well, I guess that's where our marriage works out, because for me, it's making sure we're very clear on the process and what expectations, because I found that even when we're doing full wraps to the commercials to even doing the paint protection, we have to be very clear on what exactly is going to happen, what they know, because if they see a kink in your process, they focus on it, that's where they complain, and then that's where they try to get you to do it over, or they try to get, I've just seen more trouble with paint protection and things like that, to where a lot of these people show up, they want paint protection, that's great, and then they drop it off. But if you're not doing proper pre-inspections, these people don't even know these scratches are there, and then you put it on, and it's like, hey, what's that? It's like, that was there. And so I learned real quick in that industry, not so much, because full wraps, it goes over, not a big deal. You usually don't inquire any problems until you go to remove. So I've just found that our process along the way, making sure that we're all saying the same thing and that we're all, doing each step. Because once they see that the salesman said something and then the installer does something different, then they say, well, why did this happen? And then once they see that you're not on point, I think they try to focus. And so if there's one least little bit of problem later, maybe it's a week, maybe it's the next day you turn it over, or 6 months. So I've just found that's helped us go a lot smoother for each industry that we're in. Full wrap to the commercial to paint protection, just making sure, hey, okay, hold on, well, let's take a look at the car. Here's what we're doing. Okay, no problem. Are you aware of this and this? No, I wasn't. Okay, well, you want to go get that sorted out and then come back, and then we can continue on. So that's saved us a lot of time and money, I think, as time goes on. But I guess that's how we learn, is from our mistakes and having to do a hood over 3 times, because of small mishap in communication. So that's probably the most important for us.
I'll say, for me, I would say it's really difficult to explain to my customer what is putting lipstick on a pig. Medias are expensive. People nowadays believe that this is just a sticker that just cost $20 we can stick on a window, just stick it on there, and not understanding that we spend thousands of dollars to choose the right media, lamination, and also have the right installer to make this vehicle to look good. And they don't understand that the newer the vehicle, the better the wrap will be, and sometimes they believe that they just need to bring the oldest car with the worst paint because you're going to wrap and it's going to look good. And also go over everything with the customer, understanding their expectation. If you know that you have some handles, some mirrors that you're not going to wrap, that you need to charge extra, so when the customer comes back, he has an idea what's going to happen to those door handles. Is it going to have a seam behind? It's always good to explain to them, so when they come back, they already expect and they're not taken by surprise, and that'll go a long ways. Versus having a customer, well, you should have told me this before. I thought that this was like. The more you can explain to the customer, the more successful the process will be all the way throughout. So I would suggest be clear and let the customer know all the ins and outs about the wraps or whatever you're doing for them.
I would say the thing I need to explain the most is the whole designing process. because you get people that come in and say, hey, I got this stack of cash, I want to get these 5 vans wrapped, and, do whatever you want. Well, so what I do is I come up with 3 quick comps as fast as I can, less than an hour each, so my designer's only got 3 hours in them, and I send it over and I say, pick one, and then in the design process, I give them 1 or 2 rounds of revisions, depending on how complicated the design is. But when that round of revisions, they go from choice 1 to choice 3, they're like, you know what, I like 3 better. They're starting the design process all over again, which means they're paying again, and I found that making people understand that part of it, and having a good sheet too to send to companies or whatever that are supplying you artwork, so they understand what the quality of the artwork needs to be, because Google Images do not work. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen, and they're, oh, I don't want to spend $75 for a Shutterstock photo. Well, you're spending $75 or I'm not doing it. Like, that's just the way it's got to go. So, the installation part, these guys all covered that part, but the design process I found, for me and my shop and in our situations, that we can suck up a lot of money and a lot of labor hour in that process. So really having clear-cut guidelines. This is what the files need to be at full size. So if you design at 72 DPI at 10th scale, what are you going to get out of it? So really understanding those and having that guideline, that sheet to send out to people that may be supplying artwork, I think will save you a lot of time, money, and a ton of headaches. So
mine is dealing with time. I'm a solo installer, and I do have quite a bit going on. I don't have all the extra hands that some of these guys have. So getting the customer to understand my time constraints is not their time constraints always. That's really kind of difficult. But I've gotten to the point now where it's almost where if they want me to do it, they're going to have to get on my schedule. I'm not so much on their schedule. We try and work it out as best we can, and really communication is the biggest part of it all. And them communicating to the end customer that, hey, we can do this, but it's going to be next Tuesday. We can't get to it any sooner. There are emergencies where we jump in and try and help out, but I think time is the biggest thing that I fight against with these customers. They, oh, we'll get it tomorrow. And they call me up, hey, we need you here tomorrow. Well, that's not going to happen. Sorry, I'm already slotted for today. It's funny, somebody will have a $150 install and they think that they are my top priority. Guess what? You're not. You're going to fall in line with everybody else, just along with the $1,200 install that's already scheduled. You're going to fall right in line with the next one and the next van, and then so it's a juggling act for me, and I do the best I can with it. But it really, you get to a point where you're starting to rush through things and get things. Your customers rushing. Everybody's rushing. Something's going to screw up. Slow down just a little bit. Get everything in order, then move forward. And you'll end up working out better in the long run.
I guess our biggest problem with customers is really, we've got it ironed out pretty good. For most of the process, is the one we have the most problem with is getting paid. So, we have a lot of customers. We have over 600 customers, and when you have that many, there's a bunch of them that just aren't going to pay their bill. And no matter what your terms are, they just don't want to do it. So the way we resolved it is, it's not really completely resolved, but it really helps a lot, is just invoice is immediately, and then don't have a big long time in between when you did the work and when you did the invoice. Invoice right away, and then stay on top of it. We have people that actually just they check up on it and make sure they received it, and then at least that's acknowledged, and then the time, if you're 30 days or 15 days or 1 week or whatever you decided ahead of time, we recheck with them again if we haven't received the payment. And usually, if you follow up a lot, the percentage of being paid is a lot bigger. And then unfortunately, you're going to have some that just don't want to pay their bill, and you'll end up, you really almost have to just write it off.
Yeah.
It's not worth going to court over.
Or pull it off.
Well, yeah, we threatened that a couple times. Well, and to add a little bit to Jim is the install part. We're a service-based industry. You don't call the plumber out to unclog your toilet and not pay him. So Otherwise, you're gonna have something left that you're not gonna wanna clean up. So, take care of the people that, that are doing the work for you. And that's, I kinda explained that a little bit. I said, hey, you're gonna have a clogged toilet tomorrow if you don't pay your plumber. So pay us for what we do. It's a service, so, sorry.
I think for me, it's all about time, because I was an installer and I never sold a job, so I didn't have to schmooze the client or do anything like that. So when whoever's dropping off the car, whether it was a client or someone for the client, like there was always a conversation. So like the first year is always like, how's traffic, how's life, how's school, whatever. And so I mean, which is cool, but my job is to get it on and get it off, because I want to go home, to be honest with you. So what I learned is a simple trick is I had a book of all my pictures, and now I would just have it on an iPad or something like that, and it'd be a lot of pictures. So when they get out of the car, I shake their hand, say hi, I say, here's my book. They look at the book, and by the time they're done looking at the book, I'm already cleaning and taking hardware off, and I'm busy. And they see that I'm busy, and then they don't talk to me. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm there to wrap the car, and if I'm done and I have time to talk to him, cool. But it's like the biggest thing is, I mean, this is like Groundhog's Day, and you guys know it too. It's like, how many times, what is wrapping, what is full print? It's cool, and it's a good conversation, because this industry is still new, and how many people don't know about this industry? So it's the same conversation every time, and I don't want to have that conversation. I just want to go home. So that picture book saved me a lot of time, but it also turned into a selling tool, because then they got other ideas for designs or cars and stuff like that. But for me, it was about working. I don't want to have a conversation. I want to work, because then I want to beat home rush hour traffic. And if I have that conversation, then I'm stuck in traffic. And it sounds cold, but that's how I make money, because I'm there to make money. I'm not there to talk. So maybe that is cold, but I found that worked. The picture book was great. It really saved a lot of time. So that was good.
Okay.